Okay. So today I am out here at the Fort Whoop-Up Interpretive Center. It's May 2nd, 2016, in the last part of the moon, Matsi Kapisaki, the last winter moon, the frog moon. And I have a little contract with the fort here, with the Galt Museum and the city of Lethbridge, to build the Blackfoot exhibit that I suggested. They had contracted me a couple of months ago to make recommendations for their new Blackfoot exhibit. This fort was being run by the Fort Whoop-Up Society, I think Interpretive Society or something like this, and then they didn't get their contract renewed, so the city has kind of taken it over. The lease has gone to the Galt Museum, which is our local history and cultural museum, and the Galt Museum in turn contracted me to make recommendations for Blackfoot exhibits. And so I did that over the last couple of months, I think in March, April. And this is one of the rooms I'm going to be working with. We got a monitor here, just was installed today, this morning, and we're going to run a kind of a orientation film on here about the Blackfoot history with this place. Some really nice murals of an old oak on there. I need to fix up this area here. I saw that it looks like what they did before was somebody just put pieces of sod, basically like prairie sod, in here. So I want to fix this up, make it look nice, but we are going to have a film in here, and then this is kind of the orientation, and then moving into this other room. Might have a greeting up in this area. This is my main space here, exhibition wise, so it's pretty spacey actually. There's a lot of room here to do some things with. I'm just going to show you the overall to begin with. We got a couple of really nice murals. So my plan here is to put a big map of Blackfoot territory here with a panel about the concept of kitawasinon, our food, what we eat, which is the Blackfoot word for our territory. Over this way, I'm going to have a travois and some archival images on this wall, and talk about movement through the territory. And as we progress into this area here, I want to have a relationship to animals along this wall. So I'm probably going to use the concept ennakotsiop, that we coexist in mutual respect, and we'll do something here. This is a lot of space, so even more than I had envisioned in my recommendations. We got a kind of a diorama of a life-size diorama of an eagle catcher here that I'll make use of as much as I can. And then we got this space here with a winter camp in the coulee, which would be, when people would camp here in Lethbridge would be in the winter. And some ground area. So what I'm planning to do here is really highlight the foods, right? So I'm going to have, berry stores and root stores and stuff like that to show right here, and hopefully some kind of a little, what do they call, like apiman, I think it's called, like a temporary shelter where women are working the food in this area here. And then I have this really nice mural here that depicts the bison on the plains, pre-contact. It was really like the Serengeti here. in the past. And I appreciate they've got a golden eagle, they've got a bald eagle, they've got a magpie. They need some crows. But any case, I have this whole area to really think about and work with, and put together some nice things here that people can enjoy in the exhibit. And this is really what I'm calling my like pre-contact area. All this area in here is to tell the Blackfoot story, the way of life prior to the fort, and then comes the fort itself. And so we can get out right this way, and when the exhibit's open, this door is going to be open. I'm not going to open it right now, but I'm going to take you out another way to show you the area that they'll be moving into when they go through this room. So they'll go through that room, and then they go out into the courtyard of the fort. Which is here. This is the courtyard area. I'm gonna have a teepee set up in the courtyard here, and I'm gonna find somebody from Blood Tribe who's from the Healy family, I think. Could be Healy or Hamilton. Healy and Hamilton were the two American fur traders who started Fort Whoop-Up back in 1869, 1870. It started in 1869, but really got established in 1870. I think the 1869 fort was burnt down by the Blackfoot, but 1870 really got established, and that was after the U.S. Army massacred Heavy Runners clan on the Marias River, so the people were really afraid to go against Napiquakes, the newcomers. So there was an attempt to go ahead and open the doors and invite them to be part of this place. And in fact, Susan, the director of the Galt who hired me here, says there's a quote from one of the chiefs about how we cannot escape the forts. They follow us. So I want to see what that quote is, and perhaps translate it back into Blackfoot and work with that. But yeah, I'm gonna have a teepee here, hopefully with somebody who's a descendant of Healy, who started this trade fort. This was really the place for illicit whiskey trade. This was a badass place. A lot of death went down here. Well, not exactly here, because this is actually a life-size replica of the real fort, which is back at the confluence of the St. Mary's and Old Man Rivers. I've done videos there lots of times at that confluence. That's where the fort really was, but they've reproduced it here because right up the hill is downtown Lethbridge, so they wanted it as a kind of a tourist attraction here. And there's a lot of history with it. I mean, the Northwest Mounted Police were basically activated just to shut this place down, and they became the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, very famed, you know, red coat RCMPs. So if it wasn't for Fort Whoop-Up, who knows whether there would have become an RCMP. But yeah, this place was bad news, and in Blackfoot it's called Againnisco, the place of many deaths. So yeah, the trade room is locked up right now, but when I get keys sometime this week, I'm going to show you the trade room too, where the whiskey was traded and all that stuff. It was the whiskey trading fort, right? It was already illegal to trade whiskey to Indians in the United States, and so these guys, Hamilton and Healy, came up here and brought their whiskey up here to trade and built this fort. And for a decade, from 1869 up until 1880, I think it was 1882 or 1883 when the Northwest Mounted Police came up here. All that time, the illicit trade was going on here, and huge. And this is what destroyed, part of what destroyed the buffalo. People were trading buffalo robes for whiskey. Yeah, it was a pretty rough time. And a lot of, what was going on had to do with the disenfranchisement, had to do with the people just being so overwhelmed by the colonization that they drowned themselves in the poison, And really, a lot of that is still going on today, and that's one of the messages that I'm gonna put out there in the other area, in the courtyard and beyond, outside. The notion that the fort is a good metaphor for the city of Lethbridge. That what has changed in these last 100, almost 150 years, nothing has changed. The Indians still come in and learn the ways of the newcomers and adapt and struggle with the disenfranchisement, struggle with addictions, struggle with poverty, and that movement to learn the other culture, the other language, is not reciprocated. The newcomers here in Lethbridge do not learn much of anything about Blackfoot language, Blackfoot culture, Blackfoot ways, Blackfoot history, because they don't have to. The only impetus for them to do so would be being human, but they're not also interested in being human. So as a first step in a lot of work that I have over the next 7-8 weeks, I'm making, I've got teepee liners here. These are liners that are going to hang in the media room. I'm going to paint a design on them, design and paint that design, and it's going to go, they're going to hang here at the lower level in this room, and it's going to look like what it should look like inside of a teepee, a nice painted design for the lower walls. So that's what I'm working on today and probably Wednesday. Hopefully it doesn't carry on till Friday. I got a lot of work to do here in a very short amount of time. So yeah, that's one of my several contracts that I'm working right now, but I'll keep making videos and you can check them out and follow what I'm doing here.